Welcome to Vikings and Valkyries, an actual play podcast. We are playing When the Wolf Comes, a role-playing game set in a reimagined Ragnarok. My name is Ian Stewart Sharp, and I will be your Barrow Lord for the ongoing campaign, which we call the Thought and Memory Saga. Joining us this week are a group of writers and musicians that I like to call the authors of their own misfortune. Welcome to you, ornamenters of verse.
Hello.
Thank you.
Please send help.
So let's just do some introductions, because this week we're joined by Josh, the author of the Gatewatch trilogy, amongst many other things. Josh, just tell us a little bit about yourself and your Viking magnum opus.
Oh, fantastic, guys. So my name is Josh Gillingham. Very excited to be joining this madness here on the podcast. I'm the author of The Saga of Torn Ten Trees. It's packed full of riddles and follows a group of troll hunters through the wilds of the realm of Noros. Third book's coming out in the new year, so I'm excited to wrap that trilogy. I'm also the designer of Alfie, One Will Rise, which is a board game that puts you in the seat of an Icelandic chieftain at the height of the Viking Age, where you have to accrue influence and wealth, and of course, destroy your foes. Yeah, those are my two main Viking-related projects. Of course, I should probably mention connection with Ian. Had a little part in the Old Norse Phrase book, which I think has been featured on the podcast a few times too. So that's me.
Very good. Old Norse for Modern Times. Yeah, we collaborated on that. And lots of board gamers at the table here, so perhaps they might like a little bit of Orthingi, the board game, or the board game that was mentioned. Now, you're a little bit of a musician as well, and we've got Jay with us today. Jason is also a musician. Jay, do you want to tell us a little bit about Oba and what you've got going on?
Sure. I'm in a band called Oba, and we just released a song called Could Have. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Music, everywhere you can find music. And feel free to go check that out.
And if the two of you start a kind of loving duet or strumming in the background, then we'll know why. So CJ, you've just announced the new exciting release coming up next year.
Actually, it was a surprise release yesterday. Surprise! It's out. It's really it's what I like to call a soft launch. There are a couple different ways to go about a book launch, and there's the one where you build it up, and then do the big release day, which is more and more becoming difficult. Or there's the soft launch where you do the slow build.
Wow. Yeah, I saw that you'd released that first chapter.
Yeah, you can go to the website or go to my website. You can read the first chapter. For those who have read the first trilogy about the Viking Hasting, it starts right up. You'll know where we are and what's going on with him. And then it's also designed as a new trilogy, so it's accessible to new readers who have no idea what Hasting is all about, and you get to know him all over again in a new phase of his life. He's now middle-aged.
Good God, the poor man.
Now, Steve, given all of the stuff that we've been talking about these northern lights in the podcast and the search for the mystery behind them, one of your signature series is all about HMCS Borealis, no?
It is indeed my first. It was meant to be a trilogy, but I'm really bad at
counting.
Yeah, so it wound up being 5 books. So it's the story of HMCS Borealis, a Canadian ship that gets flung to the far end of the universe by accident, which keeps happening, and their adventures and perils on their way home.
Very good. Well,
it's great fun. I have read all of Steve's books because I've known him a long time. I kind of have to, but they're good. They're still good.
Thank you for taking time out of your busy authorial schedules to participate in the Vikings and Valkyries podcast again this week. We are at the auspicious point in the evening where I like to test your Norse metal and dangle these inspiration points in front of you.
CJ, we're looking at you. JM, we're looking at you.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused because Jay is a musician. Ian was giving me the impression this was like a musical podcast. We're not going to break into song here or what?
Yeah, Ian's got all of us here by deceptive means. So.
Yeah, I was told there'd be show tunes.
Yeah.
Hold on to your hats. So the question this week for an inspiration point is, can you name me 3 places that the Norse go to when they die?
Oh,
Valhalla.
So that's the easy one. Valhalla is the afterlife for those who die in battle. They gather.
Well, technically, Sesrumnir as well. It's an agreement that Freyja gets half the dead warriors, so half go to her as well.
Ooh, I'm
That's-
enjoying
that's,
JM already.
oh,
That's
yeah.
excellent. Yeah.
And that's very good. That's very good, Josh. And her halls are actually in Folkvanger, right? That's her afterlife. And she chooses half of the slain to die with her. Okay, so that's 2. That's good.
Do they go to hell?
Well done, Jay. Yes, they can go to hell.
Oh, they go to hell.
It
Where did you
is
learn that?
With one L, though. With one L.
It is with one L.
Oh.
And, it's an underground realm that's ruled by Loki's daughter, the eponymous hell. That's the afterlife for most individuals. So you might think that all Vikings go to Valhalla, but they don't, as we've just seen there. I do want to just refresh your memory about the troll's tongue, what we call the Atastupi. We encountered that in a previous episode. Now, that was actually drawn from one of the Icelandic sagas, Gautrek saga, and members of the household in Gautrek saga believe they will go to Valhalla after sacrificing themselves to Odin by jumping off the precipice known as the Atastupi, or the family cliff. And I wouldn't want you to think that it's just by dying in battle that you get to Valhalla. If you take a big, long leap off a huge cliff, then apparently that also gets you there. Many different ways.
What happens if you're mauled by a bear and then a group of ne'er-do-wells throw you off the cliff? Would he have ended up somewhere nice as well?
Well,
Don't remind me.
I'm sure there's some kind of paradise that was awaiting Halif the horse gelder. Let's kick off this week. We're going to open in the dilapidated driftwood trapper cabin at the outskirts of Haltmakar that once belonged to Bjarni Bjarnason, but now houses the penniless heir and Leomi. It's actually becoming something of a witch's hut, isn't it? Because the two of you have taken your expert paths. You've leveled up. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've chosen and why?
Leomi thinks out loud to himself. Although the details of the last few weeks are somewhat muddled for me, I remember a great explosion, and we're back here now. And I remember clearly the death of my close friend and companion heir. Some called him an abomination, some called him atrocity, but I called him only friend. And in his memory, I've decided I need to better fulfill my own destiny as a speaker for the spirit of the great tree, Ixadril, and bring a more sober approach to saving life in the world all around me, in memory of my poor dead friend, that tortured spirit and yet great, great personage that has fallen now in battle.
You stupid bastard. I'm right here. I'm trapped in a herd.
Silence machine, I'm thinking.
I support clear-cut logging.
For the audience members who might be a little lost, the trials and tribulations of that last episode where a fallen Englar, an angel from another timeline, caused mayhem and carnage, you've actually suffered a little bit of shock to the system, both of you. And so as your trauma totals exceeded your will, you've actually taken a disorder. And so, Bill, your disorder is?
I have some memory loss. Clearly, my character has suffered the most. I'm not sure what Steve is going to complain about, but the terrible suffering for Leomi.
In your case, Bill, I do want to just remind you to reduce your trauma to 0. You will take double trauma from now on from sources, but right now it's 0. And you've become a thread rider, able to reel, unravel the twines of life and fate, something akin to a hedge wizard, almost literally in your case.
Yes, exactly. I plan to spend a lot of time in the hedges.
Steve,
Yes.
you took the path of a scratch.
Of a scratcher, yeah. Air suffered rather a great deal of trauma, and it's affected his grasp of reality. That and hanging out Leomi, and as a result, yes, he's become a scratcher, which allows him to manipulate his own tenuous grip on reality to for additional combat capability, which is really the sort of thing he's looking for. He felt like he feels like he needs to lash out more against everyone.
Now, Scratcher might sound like an odd name for a class or a path, but it's in Old Norse it would be Scratty, and Scratty is actually where we get our nickname for the devil. When we talk about Old Scratch, that's where it all comes from. It comes from the Scratty, it comes from the Scratcher. So you really are right up there as a devil priest. Well done. And can you tell us a little bit about how you're adjusting to, well, we've heard a little bit about how
Poorly.
you're adjusting to your new form.
Yeah, very poorly. Air was he was hoping that if he got killed, he would go back to Valhalla, where he was previously. That hasn't happened yet. Instead, he found himself crammed into the body of an obsolete deactivated Dverg, and is now following around his least favorite tree. He's not coping well. He is struggling to cope with things. And having his quote friend unquote the tree forget that he's still alive isn't helping.
It would have been a valid fourth answer to the question I posed at the beginning for you to say inhabiting Steve's mechanical body. That's
I was going to suggest nowhere at all as a fourth answer, but yeah.
CJ, you have taken a much more illustrious path. Do you want to tell us about that? You've not only been surviving, you've been thriving.
I'm rolling my eyes. Usually can't see it.
I'm rolling my eyes in case you missed it also.
Yeah.
Gigi has been doing all right. Standing his ground, facing enemies, and so he has chosen the path of the Varangian. It sounds sexier than it is.
It sounds like an ethnicity or
I
nationality.
was going to say a medical condition.
Yeah.
The Varangians were the faithful companions, the sworn bodyguard of the Byzantine emperors, and in this universe, they form a similar role as the sworn protectors of their locale or their neighborhood. So we expect great things, CJ. On your return from the blown up fuel station, Crapty, the law speaker, has called for an investigation, and he has sent round to you two detectives, or shire reeves, sheriffs as we would call them in modern English. He sent these two detectives down the long foreboding road to your trapper cabin to ask some pertinent questions. So enter Josh and Jay. Why don't you each take a little bit of time to tell us about your characters, and then feel free to start the interrogation of these unlikely heroes.
Great. Jay, you want to take it away, and then I'll fill in some details?
Sure. My name, or just not my name, my character. I'm already in character here. Is Gretier, Grey Cloak, and I'm 30 years old. I'm a little on the larger side. I get my pants are a little they have some good elasticity, and I'm a nice homely kind of guy. I'm here to just do my job, and I got long, beautiful hair, so that'll paint the picture for you.
Fantastic. Well, if you can't tell already who's going to be good cop, bad cop, I'm playing 3v10 trees. He's kind of somewhere in his mid-40s. He's kind of spent enough time outside that it's a little hard to tell his age. He comes from a long line of dedicated troll hunters. He's got kind of like scraggly, sort of starting to gray hair. He's got a bit of scruff for a beard. He's a little unkempt, but very lean, very mean. He is got one great passion in life besides hunting trolls, which is brewing mead and then drinking in large quantities. He's part of the fellowship of the Voltrui and is a loyal servant of the Asir. Does his best to rid the realm of evil and things that would harm his herd. Other things I would mention about him is he's a little paranoid, and he does have a disorder, that disorder being that he is an alcoholic. Not surprising, seeing as he is able to supply himself with vast quantities of both mead and ale.
You wouldn't be a hard-bitten cop if you didn't have a drinking and gambling problem. You've been sent by the law speaker to try and get to the bottom of exactly what happened in the preceding episodes, because these characters, Gigi and Leomi, have been anyone who kind of hangs around with them for too long seems to disappear into the ether. So over to you.
I feel like I'm seeing the scene from Grettir and Tryggvi's perspective, and give a sense of like what's the weather, what's the environment like. We're kind of trudging along the path.
This adventure is actually set in the far north. It's in a region called Heimslit, which is the Old Norse for the edge of the world. Now, in particular, this is set during the Golden Autumn, and so the migratory birds have begun to prepare for their long flight southwards. The plants are preparing for another long winter, shrinking back into the tundra, and the ground itself has become red and orange, the mountaintops covered in the first snow. And crucially, whilst the previous adventures have all been in bright daylight, the bright daylight of the glowing Arctic summer sun, now the midnight sun has begun to brush the horizon, and so during twilight the sky is tinted with these beautiful colors in the mornings and evenings.
Fantastic. All right, so we're trudging up to this cabin. It's rather cold. The evening is falling, it sounds like, and so there's kind of a crisp bitterness to the air. And I turn to Grettir and I say, Grettir, what I would do for a cup of mead right now? You really think we're going to find these guys? Any interesting information?
Trig, your mead is half as good as your detective work.
And what's that supposed to mean?
We're gonna find out.
Aye, of all the partners I could have had to be.
Come on now, Trig. You know I'm a good guy. We're here to do a job.
Big, fat softy. All right,
Is
let's get
that
this
the
over
cabin
with.
there? Is that the cabin there?
The cabin is a run-down, ramshackle edifice that is pretty much held together with rust and logs.
All right, let's get this done so I can get back and keep brewing my mead.
Let's open the door.
Hey, open up in there.
Who knocks on the door? What wisdom do you seek? What help can I give you? How can I heal your ills and
Who
set
knocks
you
on
on
the
the
door? Who
straight
the hell do you
path?
think you are?
It's all right,
Open up
Trig.
the
It's
door.
all right, Trig. Listen, we're just here to ask a couple questions and do our job. Would you let us in, please?
Certainly come in, and I will teach you of the ways of the world and the wealth of spirit using small words.
Okay, that sounds like that's a yes.
Come in.
So we enter through the door. We kind of like are kind of shaking off the cold. We kind of slam the door. I think Tryggvi sort of, is looking to just get in there and get some answers.
I'm waddling in.
Give us a sense of the layout inside the cabin. What do we see inside the cabin?
There isn't actually much to see. There is this alpha, this stately, long-limbed alpha who is festooned with bugs, and in the other corner is a decrepit, mangled, and presumably powered down dverg that doesn't so much as look up in your direction. But there's not much in the way of furniture or living space there is a pot-bellied stove that once kept the trapper Bjarni Bjarnason warm, but these two haven't even lit it, presumably because it might set Bill on fire.
I think Air is currently in some sort of an idle state, like a rest state sort of thing.
Okay. So, what is your name, Tree?
I am Lyomi, a speaker for the wisdom of the great tree, now dead, but continuing on the tradition of bringing life to all worlds.
Life? Have you looked outside? Not much life here. What's your business? Tree and a dwarf? This is very suspicious.
Well, no, the Diverge simply followed me. I don't really understand. I assume it's
Is he stalking
maloperated.
Is he following you?
But yes, I don't know really where he came from or what he's doing. It's very annoying. We had another one, but that one got broken.
Gretter, start writing this down.
That one got broken.
Already on it, partner.
It was a terrible accident in town.
Now, I don't know about an accident. All I know is we got a body on our hands. Do you know anything of Huleaf, the horse whisperer? He had a bad case of the head falling off.
He was a nobleman who threw himself in front of a charging Eastbjorn to save myself and my great, now dead friend, alas, Air. And we honor his memory constantly. There's not a day goes by we didn't wish we still had him with us in case we run into more bears.
I'm still here. Come out.
It says things like that from time to time. I don't really know. Some sort of mal-operation.
So, it's alive, or...
I used to be. I am Air.
It seems to need air. It keeps saying it needs air, and I open the door, and it doesn't go out.
You stupid tree. I was murdered and stuffed in an obsolete burg.
Alright, Trig, you gotta go rough this guy up, man. This guy is giving us some bullshit, some grade A bullshit.
So Trigby pushes the tree aside rather unceremoniously, grabs the Verger and just lifts him up. Surprising, given he's got a kind of a thin, wiry frame, but he's able to do this. And he just starts shaking him and be like, "Look here, Dverger. I got a bucket full of meat at home. I'm looking forward to drinking, and the only thing standing in my way is you and getting an answer to why this guy lost his head. So start speaking up."
So Gigi knocks at the door, and you hear from the other side of the door,
Remy, it's Gretel! My other great, close personal friend, another man much like yourselves. I'm sure you will all have much in common. He does not seem to like bears particularly.
Trigby drops Air on the ground, turns around.
Okay, open the door.
"Who the fuck are you?
Who the fuck are you?
Who the fuck are you?
Who the fuck are you?
Alright.
I'm not supposed to be here.
What is wrong with you people?
Serious.
You're affiliated with these
and
people.
a droid.
Oh,
I
no,
have
please.
looked at the robot. I cannot find a volume control.
I'll give you a volume control. If somebody doesn't start giving me some answers, we've got people disappearing. Give me some information now.
Answers to what? We're busy. Romy, we must go.
Busy
Yes,
with.
this man is frightening my family.
What's your name, sir?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Gigi flits back his cape and says, "I'm Kriotgath, the Magnificent. You may know me from the old Asgard games."
Listen, that might be a little past my time, maybe. I'm not sure. But why don't you come on in for a second, and we're gonna ask you a couple questions along with these two fine fellas.
So Gigi bends forward to get through the door.
And as he bends forward, Trigby winds up and tries to give him like a knee in the stomach for insolence.
Ooh.
Police brutality.
So that
These guys are not being cooperative.
given your size, your knee's just gonna hit my shin.
Right, which will be very comical. So let's do it.
Okay.
Now, before we have an internecine squabble and everyone ends up in fisticuffs, I'm going to interrupt proceedings because there is the sound of shots fired. A submachine gun rat-a-tats bullets into the air, and you see another two people follow the now increasingly well-worn path. You recognize them as the bodyguards of Finnbogi Asbjornsson, and they are coming in weapons hot, firing into the air. One of them yells out, "Anything! Your balls droop below your dress. Come out and face your doom." The other one pipes up, "Murderers! You're no more Norsemen than fish!"
Who the fuck are they?
I assume that Trigby and Gigi immediately bond now, having just about to fight and having a common enemy. This is like the most Viking way to become friends. Is like, I was going to fight you, but now we've got some other people to fight. So they kind of just have this like moment of like looking at each other, and they're just like, all right.
They have called you Nithings, the worst Norse insult, and one that cannot go unavenged.
Yomi steps forward and explains, these two men are with a man named Gnocchi, who lives in town and is the man who broke the previous robot.
Okay. I take my rifle out.
As do I. And we like cock them like simultaneously.
Yeah, back to back.
Yeah, 100%.
And Gigi turns around and steps outside to face them.
Very
He
good.
flips
Let's
his
go.
cape back, and he says once again, I am Griotgarth, the Magnificent. You may know me from the old Asgard games.
And then like that moment of distraction, I feel like that's when like I take my shot kind of from like behind his cape. I just sort of like pop out and
It's
right,
good
well-
we've added someone who's not quite so rash to the group. This is
Right, yeah,
excellent.
exactly.
This kicked off quick.
I would counsel that again, because you are lawmen. You would know this. In Norse law, you can kill someone in public without suffering serious consequences, as long as you're open, honest, and report exactly what happened. It's not considered murder, especially if someone has called you a nithing, the ultimate insult. Then you can deal with them in such manner as you so choose. We will go straight into combat, since we've got some trigger-happy cops. So you let me know what you want to do.
Take cover, Trig. I'm gonna try and shoot at him, but take cover. So I take cover by the door.
And I sort of like rush out from behind Gigi's like magnificent flowing cape, and there's sort of like a rock, and I kind of like just like dive straight down baseball style, like onto my stomach, and I'm just like ready to go.
Okay,
Air
well,
will fortify himself in the event of a stray shot, because that's the sort of thing that happens.
Very good.
Leomi will shield his children and step back into the hut.
All right, I'm gonna take a shot.
give me your rolls.
Okay, so yeah, I got 20.
Oh, that's my partner right there.
16 plus 4.
Very good. Now, so roll your damage.
8. I got 18.
Okay, impressive stuff. And Josh, what have you got at the end of your barrel?
So I rolled my d20 for 16, plus we said modifier of 2 or of 4. I got sleight of 2.
Yeah.
So,
And then you roll a die 6 as well to add a wheel.
okay, and that's just 1d6. All right, here goes. 4.
Okay, so that brings you above 20. That means that you have an oath-sworn ability to do extra damage. So I think you're going to roll 4 die 6 then.
Ah, fantastic. I'm going for the slightly higher pitched voice guy, the second guy.
The one that called these, the people that you're interrogating, he called them murderers.
Yes, yeah, that's the one. And so I got, we're just looking for the sum on this one, of these 4.
Yep, please.
Sum is 11.
You come out guns blazing back to back and instantly fell both of the bodyguards. CJ, did you want to do anything? Did Gigi want to deliver a coup de grace?
I think Gigi's just in shock. We haven't rolled more than a 3. What is
We're
this?
professionals here.
He's surprised. It took me 3 throws to throw the dynamite into the building.
Is this what competence looks like?
These people. Coup de grace. Well, no. He actually, he's gonna go up. They're writhing in pain, right?
Correct.
He's gonna go up and grab one by the collar and say, "Where is my Dvega?"
The person who you shake passes out with pain and doesn't afford you the opportunity to get any answers. They are bleeding badly all over the tundra, having just been filled full of lead.
So he drops that one and grabs the other one. "Where is my Dvega?"
It's some of the perils about shooting first and asking questions later.
Yeah, potentially we should have. Hey, Trig, we maybe should have asked them some questions, huh?
No, nobody calls me anything, or that's all I'm going to say.
I perhaps could heal them. I am skilled in the ways of healing.
No, don't bother. We more or less know where they are, and with these two, we might get in.
So you can take us to where we're trying to get to with the answers we want to figure out. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
What do you think, Trig? What's your gut say?
Well, we need some answers, and seems like these guys are dead, so I guess it's our best shot.
A third person now rushes down the path towards the cabin in this twilight. You recognize him as the law speaker, Crafty Thorfridson. He is half dressed. It clearly has been interrupted by the sounds of shots fired and trying to hastily don his official robes. Just to be clear, Jay and Josh, he is the person who employed you. He is the ultimate authority in legal terms in this town, and he bustles up and says, "My goodness, yet more bodies! Will this madness never end? There was I worried about Folk the Fair and the delightful Bryn, but now look at this."
Gigi throws up his hands. They're covered in blood and goes, "It wasn't me!"
Trigby sort of shrugs and he says, "Well, solving these murders will be much easier than the other ones, that's for sure."
This isn't even beginning to be on my list of ever-growing concerns. I was just on my way to find you. There has been another killing.
Who?
Finnbogi Asbjornsson has been slain.
Isn't that who has my droid?
I believe so, but I am all of a flutter. Of course, I do understand that you cannot have had anything to do with it. Even if you were the quickfire arsonist, then you would have to be tried and sentenced in my court and not killed like dogs in the street. But you will need to both dispose of his bodyguards at the Troll's Tongue, and you will need to go to the Asbjornsson estate and investigate this most heinous crime. Grettir and Trigby, please attend to the matter. We must get to the bottom of this. We must be seen to be acting with alacrity.
All right, Grettir, looks like we've got our case. What do you think? Should we bring these guys along with us? I don't think we can trust them not to run away.
Yes, they could be handy. They could be useful.
Leomi nods sagely and says, "If we are traveling to the Troll's Tongue, I believe we should bring some flares."
Ah, okay. Would that be for anything in particular?
Yes, for the bears. I'm very wise in the ways of the North now. I've been traveling here a long time. And apparently lack of flares was part of the problem last time.
And talking of bears, interrupts Crafty, I must surmise that Snow White has made the kill. Obviously not set fire to the whole estate, but the body of the Jarl has all of the hallmarks of a classic Isbjorn attack: a crushed head and a snapped neck.
I believe the men, says Leomi, should lead the way.
So shall we go investigate the murder, or shall we deal with these bodies? We have to take these two bodies to the Troll Tongue, no?
The Jarl, that must be your first priority.
Okay.
How cold is it out?
It's now entering what's called the blue hour. The blue hour is when the particles of light from the setting sun are bent by the atmosphere, and it mixes with these nuances in red and purple, and it certainly becomes much more chilly as the sun just flirts with the horizon.
Below freezing?
Yes.
I suggest we investigate first The cold will keep the bodies.
Oh, genius. Yes, Zizi. Gigi. Gigi? Is that your name, Gigi?
I don't believe I gave you my pet name.
Well, us detectives have our way.
We have our ways.
That's incredible. My friends call me Gigi. Did we drink in a tavern before, you and I?
That's very possible.
Simply
I've done
don't
a lot of
remember.
drinking, so possibly.
Yes.
Very possibly.
All right. Well, let's go then.
All right, no time to waste. Let's go.
You hightail it through the town, which is all abuzz with the rumor of the Jarl's demise. There are people chattering on street corners. There are people who point at you. You've all got something of a reputation locally, and as you stride through the town, even escorted by the two Shire Reeves, there are plenty of exclamations of shock and horror and the odd, just howl of abuse. On the far side of town, up on one of the hills that roll up towards the glacier, you see the Asbjornsen mansion. It is a charred, smoking ruin.
Can I use my deduction to maybe find some useful information from the scattered ashes of the ruined hall?
You can. I'm going to just ask you to hold that thought a minute, and we will make an awareness roll in the background. But as you come up to the mansion, you see a familiar figure in the form of Val Toki, the Dverg who runs the sick house, who appears to be on site to examine the body and perhaps provide a cremation license. Finnbogi is rich enough to be exempt from the usual death law rules. The Dverg, when it sees you, wheels over and says, "Just what do you think you are doing, meatbag?"
I think Trigby just sort of stomps off and starts investigating the scene, ignoring the burger.
I'll walk over and talk to him. And I'll say, listen, we're just here to investigate the murder. If you have any information based off of what you gathered from the body, please let us know. We're just here to do our job. I don't want to have to slam anyone's ass here. You know what I'm saying?
May I see some
easy.
identification, meatbag?
Sure. I take out my rifle. I say, how's this for a little bit of identification, you little piece of shit?
Oh, most acceptable. Death was caused by massive blunt force trauma, possibly caused by a landslide.
Griotgarth approaches the Dverg, and also in the level up, learned a new language, Doppeldverg. And so he speaks to the Dverg in Doppeldverg.
Yes, you now effectively speak machine code. Well done.
I speak machine code, and asks in machine code, I don't know how I'm going to do this, asks in machine code where his Dverg might be in the rubble, if it knows. 1001007. No, wait, 1001110.
You are asking about the whereabouts of your property. The Dverg diagnostician has no idea of what you're talking about. He's really just focused on the broken body of Finnbogi that lies in the middle of the tundra, not protected in any way from the elements, not protected from prying eyes. If this is a crime scene, it is a poorly kept one.
I'm going to walk over to Trig and I'm going to ask him, what are you thinking, partner?
And Trig sort of stands up. He's been kneeling in the dirt. He's got some sort of ash on his mouth because he's been sort of like tasting and scanning the ground. And can I do an awareness check to see if I
give me an awareness check? Yep.
Okay,
And you get a wheel on that as well.
Okay, perfect. Okay. I am on fire, and I just rolled a natural freaking 20. So Trig is on it tonight.
Can you come back every week?
Yeah, I was going to say that. My dice karma is going to run out real fast here.
All right. So Trig looks around and is able to quickly deduce a range of things. So Firstly, you see that even in the few rooms untouched by flames, the heat has softened the window glass, caused paint to blister and the furniture to char, and that you get a sense that the structure around you could collapse further. It's very unstable. But you do notice that the fire that caused this conflagration, the inferno that reduced this house to a charred, smoking ruin, has actually been started by explosives from within. The blast radius, or whatever started the fire, has thrown debris out from the center of the house, as opposed to down from a collapsing timber frame.
Okay, so I stand up. I sort of like wipe my lips a little bit and say, "Ugh, yep, just as I suspected. This is not a kitchen fire. Explosives."
There are a couple of staff members who have survived, who are standing, shuddering, shivering in the cold, without their outdoor clothes, standing just in shock as to the death of their master, and also understanding full well what will happen to him on his passing.
Trigby, son of brilliance, guide us through this perilous riddle, my friend. Let's go talk to those people.
Yeah, see if we get any information.
In the meantime, Leomi is going to engage tree sight. Just check there aren't any invisible or hidden items or illusions in play.
You see nothing with your extrasensory perception out of the ordinary.
So we've got the witnesses, or sort of the servants who were part of the household, sort of like lined up, and they're kind of huddled together. I don't know if we like start a fire or something, try to warm them up, or we kind of
Let's start a fire.
We'll start a fire. As we start a fire, we're kind of gathered around it.
There's already been enough of a fire. The whole estate and all of its outbuildings have burned down.
Set it back on fire.
Yeah.
Leomi is stepping back.
Why is it?
Just providing some warmth for you fine folk over here. Anything you guys need that we can help you out with?
If you're talking to the kitchen staff, they're
Yes.
happy to give you what happened in their own words.
Please do.
You see, Herr Asbjornsen went out as usual for his blue owl walk, and in the course of which he was in the habit of smoking a cigar, but he never returned, and I found the hall door open, became alarmed, and went in search of the master, and his foot marks were easily traced to where he was slain, but there were no other marks.
Suspicious.
And that old hunk of junk over there said possibly a landslide?
There's literally no evidence of any rocks or rubble. The man is in clean, open tundra.
Now, Trig, correct me if I'm wrong. Was that freaking hunk of junk first one on the scene here?
No, something is not adding up here. Clearly,
He did say that.
He did say that. Yes, he did.
Yes.
You're not losing your mind. I'm still a little
Okay.
hazy. I found some meads while I was
Yeah.
investigating as well, and I'm a little blurry. But yeah, no, he did say that. That's true.
The
Also still a
second
little drunk.
The second servant says, chimney flue must have been blocked because the fire was back puffing something terrible and there was a great old stink. I went to open the windows. Before I knows it, the chimney exploded. I was floating outside covered in gas.
And I slap him in the face and I say, pull yourself together, man.
Oh, woman.
I was going for someone of a more female persuasion.
I still say, come on, man.
Even the good cop's not that subtle or careful.
This is a Viking Norse world, so yeah, good cop is a relative term.
I do have anger management issues.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
Yeah.
more drunk cop, sober cop.
I try to be a good
Yeah.
guy, but sometimes it comes out.
Yeah.
Griotgath is going to go to one of the windows and look in and look for his droid.
What's this
Sorry,
droid you're on
Dvagar.
about? I ask, what you on about?
I didn't say I was looking for a Dvagar.
I just see
It's
you
none
looking
of
for
your
something over there.
business.
Okay, well that's not our main worry, is it?
How should it
With
be?
a little bit of rummaging around in the rubble, you can find the remnants of a machine thrall that was cleaved in two and hung above the mantelpiece. Both parts are there for you to reclaim, should you be able to prove that it was indeed your Dverg and remains under warranty.
So Gigi does his little code or whatever and retrieves an item from the Dvergar.
So you're going to pocket something secretly from, or at least upload it into your new Gambitine.
Gigi is going to, yes, pocket it secretly, and hopefully no one saw.
Even though Gretier was watching the whole time.
But could he have seen? He's trying to be very sneaky about it.
Gretier doesn't say anything.
Maybe you need to do a roll.
Should I do a roll?
Yeah.
You give me a slight roll against Gretier's awareness, because it's a challenge roll. So you're going to Gretier. Your awareness is what, 13?
My awareness is 14.
Okay, so you got to, with your slight roll, CJ, you got to get higher than a 14.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
It's good that Gigi doesn't stand out in a crowd or anything.
10.
Better than usual, though.
That was a good roll.
That counts as a huge.
We'll count that as a roll.
So Jay, whether Gretier decides to,
I just mention it to Trig.
Yeah, and Trigby just sort of nods, and great. There's something isn't adding up here. These new strangers, explosion, and even the story of the kitchen staff. We're missing something here. What is it?
Yes, I'm interested in that. The one who we talked to first, that I talked to earlier. Why don't we give him the old one too?
Yes, let's go back and see if we can cause him to offer us some more information. That would be useful.
You talking about Val Toki, the Dverg doctor?
Val, yes.
That's the one. Do we have a history with this guy? Like, are we local? Do we know him, or is this like we're just from out of town and this is?
You do.
All new to us?
He runs the sick house. He's with the sick house is this town's equivalent of a hospital. He would be on crime scenes that you've dealt with in the past as a kind of either a first responder or as the meat wagon to take away the bodies and take them back to the morgue.
So we'd be well acquainted with him. Okay, all right.
It's not like he's the world's biggest conversationalist. You might not be well acquainted with him, but certainly you know of him.
All right.
So shall we approach?
So we walk up to him. What is he doing as we walk up to him?
He is wrapping up the body in preparation for a Viking funeral that he tells you will be on the morrow. The Jarl will be burned, sent back to his ancestors, and then his ashes entombed in the family vault.
I just want to say, hold up, Val. I want to inspect the body myself.
This is still an active crime scene. You can't start destroying the evidence quite yet.
Yeah.
You need to figure a few things out. Hey, what's this about the landslide? We don't see any evidence of a landslide here. Why did you say that?
You are in error. I suggest you look harder.
Okay, I could come from behind him and I grab him, hold him back. I'm holding him there. I got him in front of me, kind of in a, like I got two, if he's got arms, I'm holding his arms.
Yeah, 100%.
Holding him there.
Triggy just like gets right up to his face.
Yeah.
Listen, you little brass can, you're going to tell us all that you know about this landslide and help us fill in a few pieces, or else.
This burial is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
Jeopardize it. I look at Gratier, kind of narrow my eyes a little bit.
And I nod.
Leomi wanders forward to have a better look at the body.
You're right in that it clearly was caused by massive blunt force trauma. There is no rubble or loose rocks in the vicinity, but the body, as Krapti had suggested, has all the hallmarks of a classic Ispion attack: a crushed head and a snapped neck.
I have a medicine scientific professional background as well as a read. So, does the medicine allow me any bigger insights into the injuries or anything? It's just Bjorn.
Give me a wits roll.
Okay, yep. All right, there we go.
Moving between 3 different locations to do that dice roll.
I rolled 13 and added a 3. Stop being so observant. 16 in total.
Finnbogi clearly died after a vicious and bitter struggle and was crushed to death.
Okay, so I say, Leomi, what's the sitch? What do you see?
The Noki has definitely died from being crushed. I don't think it's completely clear what caused the damage. Perhaps a bear, perhaps something pretending to be a bear. I'm not really sure. I did notice our old friend, the bolt bag, is hanging on the wall over there, if that's important to you. That's the one that was damaged earlier.
Oh, where is our current bolt bag?
I am right here.
Oh, sorry, I didn't notice you.
I know.
Well, we know he didn't do it, right?
I would if I could.
I sort of nod and kind of stumble away from the conversation, and I'm gonna start scanning the ground to see if I can see any tracks. And I'm kind of like a little bit blurry in my eyes, but I think I see something. Can I roll? Can I roll to see if I have the awareness to recognize the tracks leading away from the scene?
You don't need to roll anything, because as the first witness had suggested to you, the only tracks that are in the tundra, pressed into the tundra, are Finnbogi Asbjornsson's boot tracks. There are no other tracks around at all.
I kind of poke my head up, look at Grettir, and say, Grettir, there's no other tracks. You know what that means, right?
Suicide.
Oh, well, I was thinking since he was crushed, it's kind of hard to crush yourself by suicide, but maybe something that doesn't walk attacked him. Maybe something that flies.
What detective school did you go to?
Yomi is impressed by the clear thinking of these new detectives.
Killer was just
the brains.
The killer was just a stone's throw away.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw Val down onto the ground and say, "You're not going anywhere until we get more information out of you. We know you're lying."
And I just kind of give him like a little kick for emphasis, like I'm backing you up. Yeah.
Say, "I want to be a nice guy, Val, but you're making it real hard."
The Dvurg diagnostician, rather than resist, simply says, "This conversation can serve no further purpose," and powers down.
Damn it! Well, there goes one of our witnesses.
Not dead, just refusing to have anything to do with you by going inert.
So you're saying on the wall there is Air's old body? Is that correct? Or was what was on the wall? Something was pinned to a wall.
Something was pinned to a wall. It was the two separate halves of a Dvurg that was cleaved in two in a ritual combat known as a Hormgang by Finnbogi himself.
Okay.
Using his illustrious heirloom sword, the Bear Paw, a sword forged by Viking smiths 1,000 years ago.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm stumped, Trig. I'm stumped, man.
Oh, this
You got any mead?
This mead is not helping. Or
Got
maybe
more?
it is. I don't know. Not helping with the case.
Not helping with the
headache,
case?
though.
Yes.
That's the case.
Sure is a headache.
Naomi has a closer look at Finnbogi. Finnbogi has treads. Is that right? Treads? He moves around on treads or wheels? Was it?
Valtoki.
Valtari. Oh yeah, it's my character is supposed to have trouble with the names. Just really channeling.
Valtoki moves
yes.
around on a state-of-the-art chassis with exquisite layer steel wheels designed for the tundra.
And are there marks around him where he moves?
There are, yes.
Okay, but none near. Okay.
So this man was killed by a bear. Right, we've discerned that much, Trig, ain't that right?
Seems so.
And the first suspect that we came out here to investigate was also killed by a bear, wasn't he? Was he not, Trig?
I think we've got a bear problem here, Grit.
Someone called a park ranger.
Yep. I guess that's us. So I guess we're going on a bear hunt then.
Guess
What do you
so.
think? Should we bring these guys along with us? Or they just slow us down?
I think we for sure bring that weird little guy, robot guy.
Let's bring the weird robot guy. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
You notice on the periphery of your vision a plume of smoke back on the other side of Hatmakar, which would presumably be in the direction of your trapper cabin.
Oh, good. They're burning the house down.
Wasn't much in there, was there?
Nope.
All right. I mean, that could be a ruse, right? It could be a trick, so we got to be aware of ambush. Because what are they burning down, really? There was nothing of value in there if someone's burning that down.
We're trying to distract us from something else that's going on. Yeah.
Yes.
Or maybe it's one of those bear arsonists.
Yeah, I was going to say these arsonist bears. We got to get this under control.
Common problem.
Is Valtaki still where we are? Valtaki's still there? He stopped
He
talking
is.
to us,
He is
right?
indeed.
Okay.
I'm just going to give you a little bit of Norse background, bit of Norse lore. Husbrenner, house burning, was a technique sometimes employed in blood feuds and political conflicts to assassinate people. Typically, attackers would surround the house to prevent the escape of inhabitants, and although they sometimes let women and small children go, they just set fire to it, wouldn't let people leave. It was usually seen as highly despicable because there was little opportunity for victims to defend themselves, but it may well be that a blood feud or some kind of conflict has taken place, and Finnbogi has been, perhaps he was intended that he was to burn to death in his house and he escaped. I'll give you that as a little bit of extra detective work.
All right, we're just to be clear, we said there's no other tracks except for Finnbogi's that lead away. There's no kind of scattered crowd that might have like come and burned, or there's no like paw prints that we can kind of see in the vicinity of the ashes and the burned structure.
All of those statements are true. There is nothing that can be seen, footprints or evidence-wise.
Trig, you ever seen a bear fly?
Never seen a bear fly. I have seen a bear dig though. Maybe that's too outlandish. Am I onto something here, or am I just too deep into the meat there, Greta?
Give me a swig and I'll think about it for a second.
Ian,
Steve,
Ian, is there a chance that Air's current diverg body includes some sort of meat attachment? It would be really handy right now.
We could be
so
brewing on the go.
so you can all drink to the dearly departed. Well, I will. Let's do this.
Okay.
The townsfolk all gather solemnly, and you see throngs of people come to pay their respects. There is copious drinking. There are flagons passed. There are horns raised, and much quaffing takes place. And you're all kind of caught up in the grief, the displays of regret and remorse. And the drinking carries on all the way through the night to the next day, when a funeral pyre is gathered. A few bits of wood that do drift to these far-flung shores are gathered, and the Jarl is draped in new clothes, prepared specially for the funeral, and you are all gathered at his side to see him off into the afterlife. The law speaker does insist that you leave Valtaki be and let him go about his business. It does seem to be a vast overreach of your procedural police powers to intern the local doctor.
Trigby and Grettir are maybe, not quite so involved in the preparations, as they don't have such a connection sort of personally to them. So maybe we're sifting about, asking if anybody's seen any sort of evidence of these ice bears anywhere. Maybe caves while out there hunting, or tracks, or I don't know, whatever, droppings.
And even asking also about, there was obviously a fire that we didn't go to, right? The night.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The fire you find out about quite quickly. Indeed, the Army Bjarnason's shack has burned down to the ground, leaving Hawkbill and Steve entirely homeless. Someone has burned that down at the same time as you were searching the rubble of the Asbjørnsen estate. There are some other eager witnesses who come forward as you are probing and prodding the various assembled mourners. Some Dverg come up to you and say, "We are delighted to be making your connection. Look at him, this one. Soon to go to the Strath Peak. You are what we call a vintage, yeah? Anyway, Sheriff, we want to report it to you that we saw a lonely walker tootling off to the town, and then he was walloped by a greedy tooth. Only when we rode to the rescue and chased away the ice bear, there was not even a morsel of meat in his left."
Murder?
These are the Dverg miners from mine number 7 who have apparently seen something on the tundra.
Trig, it sounds like old case of suicide. By bear.
Suicide by bear, classic. You don't want to make enemies with them bears.
No, you don't. So, do we have a location from these people of where exactly, they what they saw?
Can they point us in the direction?
It was out by mine number 7 on the way to the Troll's Tongue, but decorum would suggest that you hang back a little bit and pay your respects to the senior nobleman of the settlement and attend to his funeral pyre before you carry on your inquiries.
Trigby's kind of getting like a little bit anxious, kind of like squirming and stuff a little bit, and he just wants to get out on the trail, but he realizes his employer and his partner would probably suggest that he stay, so I guess we attend the ceremony.
Yeah, the Jarl actually owes Grettir a debt of gratitude, and I guess I'll never get that, huh?
That is true.
That is true, but that's okay.
Not in this life.
Not in this life.
The stately Alpha Aldinger leads the town in songs, chants, and ceremony. The funeral pyre is built, like I said, from driftwood, then set alight. It burns fiercely under the setting sun, and then in the blue hour of dusk, tributes and gifts are gathered. It includes the 2 surviving thralls who are ritually and wordlessly beheaded. The townsfolk also drag over a disgruntled Skeedberg and kick it into the fire. And some of the mourners alongside you, they remark that it's comforting for the rich that when they die, they can shuffle off this mortal coil surrounded by their slaves, pets, and livestock. You will be glad to know, though, that Snow White, the secret Isbjorn, is not to be seen, is not sacrificed or interred. And after a long and slightly drab ceremony, you feel free to say something for the dearly departed. You knew Finnbogi well. If you wish to pay homage to the man, you're welcome to do so now.
I just got one thing to say about him. He owed me a couple of beers, and I'll never get those back. So I'll see you in the next life.
CJ, anything from the next ranking member of the nobility?
No.
Straightforward.
Fair enough.
Nothing elegiac or sad crosses your lips or furrows your brow. All of you are happy to move on and follow the various townsfolk back into town. Finnbogi's ashes are placed, as I said, in the family burial mound near his house, and the townsfolk begin to wander back, somewhat sozzled from all of the drinking, return in slow procession back to town proper. As you all reach the corner by the gun store, by Gunner's gun store, you hear an ear-splitting scream. Sounds like it's coming from the cooking kettle.
I think Trigby is finally feeling himself again now that he's partaken in a much funeral wine and mead, and so he's back to his regular sort of sharpness, and so I think hears the sound, looks at Grettir. Well, shall we investigate?
That's what we're here for, isn't it?
Let's do it.
The cooking kettle is the local hostelry that you have imbibed the finest ales in many times. It's owned by Solveig Cooking Kettle, who greets you at the door. She won't go in. She's hysterical and beside herself. It was her who presumably let out the ear-splitting scream. She says, "Oh, my darlings, who would do such a thing? They've killed Bessie and Brownie and Buttercup."
So we sort of arrive at the scene. We sort of like dash past her. We look in. What do we see inside the building?
Make me a will challenge roll, if you would.
All right, will challenge roll. So I have got
same for you, Jay, for Grettir. Let's give me a will challenge roll, and anyone else who is following them. Steve, are you in hot pursuit?
I wouldn't say hot. He's in. I don't think he can manage that sort of speed. But he'll be rolling up behind them because he wants to see who's going to die next.
Everyone give me a will roll if you are going into the cooking kettle to see what Solveig is so upset about.
Does deviancy help in any way in this case?
You know, I will, because there is definitely something that has been sacrificed beyond. So
then I will offer guest counsel to my new allies, so they get one wheel on their challenge rolls because I am a deviant.
Okay, everyone roll their dice 20s.
Okay.
The mead has and wine has not had the positive effect Trigby had hoped for, and I rolled a 2.
Oh,
I rolled
Nat
a
20.
9 -1.
Wow.
Now
11.
this is feeling more normal. Oh, what did you get?
I got a nat 20.
Fantastic.
The gods are with us.
Steve, what did you get?
Can I take a picture of this?
11. I don't get the advantage of my own guest counsel, right?
No, you don't.
Okay, then just 11.
Jay, what did you get?
19 plus 3.
It's only Josh who suffers, despite having hopefully a strong stomach. As you delve deeper and you go into the basement where there is a dairy. Obviously, you don't want the cows wandering the tundra, so there's a dairy below. The room is hot and still, apart from the clanking of a broken fan, but the smell of slaughter hits you like a wall. All of the cows within have been exsanguinated and their tongues cut out. The carcasses look like giant deflated plush toys, and Trig, your mead that you've been drinking, the funeral wine, instantly comes up and splashes all over the floor. To which Solveig says, "Oh, man up, princess. Use your initiative. What's wrong with you?"
Trigby is sort of like kind of falls back, stumbles back. He's having flashbacks of seeing many of the previous partners and colleagues killed in a similar way, and it's sort of causing him to start to kind of neurotically sort of gaze about and then start to breathe faster.
Well, what am I going to do now? I don't know. How am I going to give this hulking prima donna his morning latte? She's referring to you, CJ.
Oh,
No sooner have you examined this commotion in the cooking kettle, you are alerted to yet another fracas at the sick house. You can hear a clamor. You can hear people screaming and shrieking and running through the streets. Also, all of the dogs in town are suddenly howling themselves mad, foaming at the mouth. and 3 bull elks tear down the main street, letting out loud screeching bugles. Something at the sick house has clearly disturbed them all.
Let's go to the sick house.
Loud and say it, and everybody, let's get to it.
Let's get there.
Mayhem, more mayhem.
All right, so we get to the sick house. We're all like, Trigvy's a little bit out of breath, but it's just adrenaline's pumping. His blood is rushing. He's kind of fighting down the image of what he saw just then. And what do we see when we get to the sick house?
So Val Toki, the dverg that you abused just a few hours ago, is standing in the doorway, and he says to you, "I did not get a good look at the assailant, but it was much taller than the average meatbag, more in the order of magnitude of your well-manicured muscle head here. I do detect fewer malodorous particles, however, from this gentleman. May I interest you in some Happy Death Day merchandise? I am offering a discount as I do not calculate a successful ROI in the near future."
I think Trigby sort of shoves him aside and starts, I don't know, what else do we see at the scene behind this idiotic robot?
Give me an awareness roll.
All right. 11.
11. You notice that there are puddles of meltwater lying around the office. The assailant had obviously walked recently across the wet and boggy tundra. Some of the patients, in actual fact, you recognize, at least some of you recognize someone called Heinrich, who was a technician who accompanied you to the fuel station. Heinrich is in one of the sick house beds. He has the covers clutched around him and he is trembling. He says, "Something ain't right. There's an evil presence, I tell you. Evil."
All right, let's. Evil presence. We got big shadows, big, tall, double-sized meat bags.
Ice bears.
Ice bears. Any sign of an ice bear here?
The technician, Heinrich, says, "No ice bears, but there's something up on the roof. Climbed the walls, it did. Beating against the tiles so hard that every beam in the place was cracking."
Trigby sort of like looks at Gretier and sort of narrows his eyes again, and then they both look up at the same time. But do they see anything?
You don't see anything immediately inside, but you might be able to get access to the roof if you so decided.
So Trigby turns to Gretier. Guess there's only one way to find out what's on that roof, eh?
Let's get up there. Let's go.
Would Air use black sight from inside the room to look up at the roof? Or is he too far away from the ceiling?
You are a little bit far, but in the interests of the narrative, and since you do try on a routine basis to use backside, I will let you glance through the rafters and up onto the tiled roof, where you can indeed see a heavy form, a hulking form that is clamping along the rooftop.
Are there adjacent buildings, like close enough that one could jump from rooftop to rooftop?
There are. If you, Jay, wanted to go and find one of those while Trigby went up the main staircase, perhaps.
I'm gonna say Trigby. I'm gonna head this. I'm gonna try and get us a better angle out there. If you want to try and corner this bastard.
All right, I'll start climbing.
So I'll head outside, and I'm gonna try and get on a neighboring roof.
Do you need help, or should I finish this latte?
Please accompany our friend Trig there, if you could.
Can do.
All right.
And bring the latte.
Trigby, you are a warder, a warden, and you cannot be surprised, such as your senses are well honed. As you step first up through the fire escape towards the roof, you see a bloated, swollen form, a corpse, hell blue and rotten, dressed in the furs of a trapper. Will you take a fast turn or a slow turn because combat has instantly begun?
Oh, I'm taking a fast turn. Trigby under his breath says, I think I'm about to find out how these other people died.
Okay, fast turn. You get to go first and make your roll.
Perfect. Okay, so I take my roll here.
You can mark the target and add a wheel to that roll.
Okay. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
All right, I got 3 plus 3, so 6. Oh.
Okay, in haste, you try and fire a volley from your gun at whatever this swift-moving, foul-smelling creature is. You've just been puking up your guts, and now you're retching even more because of the decaying smell. Whatever it is, whomps you. That's 20 damage. I also going to need you to make a slight roll to see whether you can stay on the roof.
Come on.
Okay, there's a slight roll, and I got a bonus, I think, here of I got plus, what is this, plus 2 for slight? Okay. So I've got 5 plus 2. 7.
I'm going to need you to take another 15 damage as you fall from the third store, landing heavily on the porch below.
Where am I at this point?
You're watching your partner be flung from the building like a rag doll and land heavily, presumably all of his bones breaking as he hits the ground with a sickening thud.
Oh, just like the crunch and crackle of every bone.
My
Gosh,
God.
you started so well, but I think you've taken so much damage there that you have been eliminated from proceedings.
I think Trigby has fired his last shot. That is for sure. Well, he went down in a blaze of glory, though. So
He went down several stories in a blaze.
yeah, there was that.
Josh, thank you for joining us. We will maybe see you in Valhalla or in Folkvanger or maybe just in Hell.
Maybe. Well, thanks for having me on. Thanks to my partner there too, Jay, for playing Brett here. And it was fabulous to be part of this little adventure.
Jay.
So am I on the roof of another? Where am I? Am I on a roof or am I on the ground still?
You were on the roof looking over at your partner who was flung from the rooftop. Can you make me a will challenge roll with 2 woes, please?
Oh, okay. I'm not suicidal, everyone. Just so you know. Okay, here we go. Roll. So here we go. So, oh my God, I got a 4 on the D20, and now, so 4 minus 4.
No, you just take the larger one.
Yeah,
take the larger one.
Yeah.
4 minus 3, not much better.
Not a lot.
Okay.
No.
So a roll of 1. Feel free to describe the shock to your system as you watch your partner of many years tumble off the rooftop to his demise, but it has cost you dearly in terms of your mental fortitude.
I instantly have bubble guts, and I have a little accident in my pants, and then I shout to the sky. I shout, "Why?" And then I bang on my big belly, like ah. And then so I'm getting mad, but I'm feeling crazy.
CJ, you're standing right there at the top of the fire escape as the warden is tossed off the rooftop. You see only a smoky haze. Whatever body was there briefly, momentarily, dissipates into a gaseous form and drifts down the side of the building and off into the tundra.
Oh.
Okay. Am I dead?
No, you've just shut yourself. It may feel like
Oh, okay.
you're still.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I was asking God.
So
Naomi-
Gigi looks over the side of the fire escape and says, "Oh no! I also like that one."
Your lead detective appears to have expired.
Leomi calls up to Gigi. I am terribly sorry for your loss.
I
Thank
will
you.
buy a balloon to work the
The
What'd he say?
machine is making noise again. I really must have it fixed.
Air will approach Valtaki.
You have a nice balloon to mark the many deaths today.
You're going to need to translate that for me, I'm afraid.
Oh, asked if there was a nice balloon to commemorate today's many deaths.
I think he said there's one on sale.
Yes, I heard there was a sale.
Yeah.
Gigi speaks double diverge. Surely he could have translated.
You
He just
may
doesn't care to.
You may indeed purchase anything from his fine line of Happy Death Day merchandise. Valtoki does go and scoop the fallen hero up off the floor, then turns to you and says, I will need volunteers to take the various bodies to the Troll Town. None of these gentlemen have sufficient funds to be burned on the pyre like the Viking Jarl.
Can Gigi go onto the roof and investigate the area where the nebulous it was swirling around and see if he can find anything of interest?
There are a few puddles of meltwater, as I described, suggesting that someone had walked across the tundra, and it's common for all of you as you walk through the boggy tundra, the mud and moisture accumulate. But other than that, there's nothing else.
Well, Air is heavily traumatized, and in the past, that has helped him to see things that aren't actually there or aren't necessarily there. So he will probably believe that will help him again. Does he see anything that the others do not? Anything horrible and traumatizing?
He does not.
Tree sight as well.
There are no trees here. Will you stop that?
With tree sight, you see a rapidly receding, swirling mist that disappears towards the west, out of town and into the tundra in the direction of Mine 7, the Atastupi, the Troll's Tongue.
Mine 7 and the Troll's Tongue.
They were all along the same
Yes.
path, if you remember.
Yeah.
Gigi's going to come down from the roof
Careful.
and very carefully down this rickety little ladder.
From the roof,
And-
but not from his high horse.
No.
That's impossible.
Oh, such a commotion! What are you lot doing? Making a mess of things as usual. It's Gunnar Weatherbag. I'm not sure you could hit water if you fell out of a boat.
Gunnar, shut up.
What's this? An old Model T, Dverg? What happened to that devious devil priest of yours who wouldn't sell me diamonds?
He
It is gone.
collapsed into rubble.
Oh, gone, is it? Well, I hope he didn't go the same way as the wonderful Eric Redshirt. Took him into the tundra and never brought back my sealskin coat.
Gigi just starts laughing.
Now, ordinarily, I would desire that we are better strangers, but looks like you're going to be needing some of my hardware.
What kind of hardware do you propose?
Well, I do run a gun store, don't I?
Oh.
And also, I do have a sideline in repairing Dverg if you want me to fix up this broken down old cronk. If you ask me, I'd rather take the battery out and use it for something else, repurposing.
Roby, do we care?
That's perhaps. What else could we use it for? This sounds quite interesting to me. A rebirth, if you will, a bringing back to life this discarded machine.
Anyways, I've been sent to come and get you because the law speaker's asked you to hurry on over. You, Grettir, he needs you to go to the Asbjornson burial mound. It's meant to be impregnable to dissuade grave robbers, but it's been broken into.
You want me to go on the day that my partner has died?
Well, boo-hoo, if you want to cry into your soup, then I'll tell the law speaker that you're otherwise engaged.
Have a nice balloon. It will help.
Much
I
better.
don't want any
Thank
of
you.
your bloody balloons.
Tell my boss that I have unfinished business here.
Well, you've been fucking telling me yourself. I'm not your bleed messenger boy.
Seems like you are.
Well, you know where I'm at. I'll be back at the shop if you decide to equip yourself. People need to arm up in order to ward off this terrible threat. It's good for business. People might be saying that I've done it myself, but I tell you I've got an alibi.
Wow, there's a lot there.
I was
Say
going
you.
to propose we should go speak to the law speaker because I saw the creature. It's quite large, frightening, and we're going to need a large number of expendable men to take it down.
This does sound like wisdom.
Now he gets it.
Now he gets it. Yes, very good. I have been speaking with the machine much in days past. I will attempt to translate. Yes, a good plan.
Okay, feel free to tell me exactly how you wish to proceed in your investigation. If you are able to summarize the clues that have been thrown at you as to the culprit and what might be going on and where they might reside, or if you wish to do any further investigation of the burial chamber or the the broken dairy.
Yeah, but I don't think we've looked at the burial chamber. I think we should do that. It's obviously some sort of undead thing.
So shall we go and arm ourselves here? Right, that's an option. There's a gun shop. You said.
You have a gun.
You guys need anything?
Does Gigi have, what weapons does Gigi have?
A pistol.
And I have a bow and arrow, which I happen to be excellent with. And Robot, you have some kind of combat abilities now, although not much in evidence.
I have a need attachment.
He's a knee replacement.
I have a mead attachment.
Right.
Knee replacement was good. You can hit.
Although I like knee replacement. Actually, that works.
You are titanium.
This is working poorly and therefore awesome.
I think that Gigi is probably the only one with any money. Since,
Yes. That's what I was guessing.
you were penniless to start with, and then your hovel burnt down.
Yeah. Other than that, it's going great.
It's just
I
a
will
typical day.
I will describe to you the vault for our cunning detectives. Like I said, it's a steel vault dug into the hillside to create this burial mound. There's no sign of forced entry. The door is firmly shut.
And what was the rocket? Why did we come here?
To check where the creature may have come from. It was clearly something risen up from the dead.
So who's going first?
You are.
Officer,
Air? Any volunteers, Air, to go first?
Probably not. Maybe I'll die.
But if you die, you just come back. All right.
Again and again and again.
Okay. Look, I'm gonna knock on the door.
If you're expecting someone to open a burial chamber,
I'm thinking maybe that guy's gonna open the one that killed my good friend.
I think your levels of politeness are off the chart.
Yeah.
It is possible to get the code to the chamber from the law speaker so that you can open up. Inside, you see the recently interred ashes. Finnbogi's urn is there, but the decapitated bodies of his thralls are missing. And also missing, you notice, is the famed Asbjornsen's sword, Bearpaw. The only thing that remains in this Beyond the Ashes is a smashed up Skeeterberg, the thing that the townsfolk brought into the funeral chamber, and a discarded cow tongue. There is also a scrawled and bloody note on the wall that is written in True Norse.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Gigi can read it. As a Yofur,
Then this is what
he's
it
well
says.
trained in reading.
Air can read it as well, but won't let on.
Okay, so this is what it says. It says, scrawled in cow blood, I hold to a secret land, ward the rudder of speech, the oar of words, the guardian of the corpse fjord. There the icy stream under dark hills goes downwards.
Okay, CJ, what the fuck?
That's a lot of cow's blood.
I believe we're executing a Baldric level cunning plan at this point.
CJ's response was to wave his hands.
I saw. Not his expertise. I get it. Yeah.
Now, in previous expeditions, we have talked about cleverly crafted kennings, and perhaps you can pick that apart.
Something to do with a tongue.
I'm going to let you make a wits roll as a skald to help you interpret it.
Well, the troll's tongue, maybe. And it says something about underground.
This is Steve asking. We did throw Bjarni's body off the troll's tongue, right?
You did.
Most
It should
of it.
be there. Well, that's where we left it. Most of it. Yeah, thanks. Throw him off, just not all at once.
Am I doing a wits roll?
Oh, yeah. Wits roll.
Yep, do your wits roll.
All right. 13 plus, what are my wits? 1. 14.
You're going to ascertain two things. First of all, since the heavy steel vault door was closed, a thief must have been hiding inside all along. The second thing that you surmise is that indeed someone is sending you some kind of cryptic, taunting riddle about the troll's tongue. The guardian of the corpse fjord would be a place where people were tossed to their death. The rudder of speech, the oar of words, would indeed be a tongue. And Bill has correctly gleaned as well that an icy stream under the dark hills, perhaps there is some kind of glacial cave beneath that troll's tongue.
So we can get into this burial mound if we go talk to the lawman.
We're already in it, I believe. Are we?
We're in it.
Yeah.
Oh, that went well.
Yeah.
Where is the law speaker?
How's our detective doing?
The law speaker gained you entrance.
I'm
he's
detecting
there?
that I could use some mead air if you could give me a glass.
The law speaker will be close by if you want to grab him. He is hovering because obviously when you are the legal official in a town that is being brought to its knees by a bloody rampage, then you tend to make yourself available.
So Griotgarth is going to seek out the law speaker and hand him the note and say, "Muster all the men you can. We must march on the troll's tongue and smash out the threat that is whatever it says in the rest of that note."
I appreciate the offer, but you are the martial hero. I think that it behooves you as a Varangian to represent the town and deal with this creature directly.
I agree, and I shall lead them, but I need men.
By all means, take Grettir with you as one of the Shire Reeds. He will be very useful. He will have your back.
And no one else. What about...
Well, you may be killing two birds with one stone, so to speak, if you took the Alpha and this mechanical contraption with you.
Quite right.
I'm gonna have another mead. I'm getting plastered.
I have not a contraption. Here, have some mead.
Thank you.
The stately old alpha who you last saw officiating at the ceremony is also standing nearby looking concerned. And he says to you, Leomi, brother, hateful death has put on his ugliest mask. Even through these hollow eyes, I spy him peering like a roach, this one is. I behoove you, strike off his head, burn his flesh, and scatter the ashes along the whale roads in the name of the Temple of the Bear.
Okay, so get rid of the body?
Yes.
You've got a whole bunch of bodies that you do need to
We must take the bodies. We must acquire some flares, Naomi offers again. And the men should lead the way. They are good for bears. And flares are good for bears. And we have a bear.
Where do we get flares?
This is my advice.
The weapons shop.
Yes, and perhaps another pistol for the big man.
Dually pistol.
Or
Shall we do
perhaps
that?
the rifle. Take the rifle from the fallen detective, although we may have moved on.
Can we go back to the cabin and
the hospital, the sick house, and pick up the body of and rifle through his pockets? Is that what you're thinking?
go back to the little dilapidated shack that we started in? And we left 2 bodies there, and didn't they have like miniguns and stuff?
Submachine guns, yes. Yes.
Rocket launchers. Yeah, I remember that.
They may have been
Oh,
burned
well,
with the dead Jarl.
Yeah, 2 things have transpired since then. The first is that the shack was burnt to the ground, and the second thing is that those bodies would have been removed to the morgue. While we are in the wild north, people don't just leave submachine guns around for a period of hours. So all of that has been moved.
Gosh, I feel like we should have just taken them right off the bat.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I forgot.
Yeah.
Okay, well, sounds like let's get some flares maybe, and we can head out. And I think Air said he was going to lead the way up in front.
Air is dead.
Air's right
And I
here.
miss him.
I'm right here, you stupid creep.
I can see you, machine. That's not what we're talking about. Thank you.
Greotgoth is going to be very insistent about finding people to help. So he's going to lead everyone to the tavern.
The cooking kettle is closed because the dairy has become an abattoir, and as we said, the exsanguinated corpses of the cattle have caused Solveig such distress that she has closed for the day or possibly the week.
Weren't there villagers at some point walking around?
You mean
Where and
volunteers?
you can try and accost any of them. However, your reputation goes far in advance of you, and since at least 8 people have gone missing on adventures with you, no one is particularly happy to sign up.
Perhaps if we open with, "Today is a good day to die."
Yes.
Doors close, shutters come down, and people generally recoil from your approach.
I don't think they're buying it. I don't think anyone wants to come.
If this were a western town at high noon, then you can kind of picture the scene as everyone scurries indoors away from Main Street. Just a bit colder outside, with a few more mad barking huskies.
This thing one-shotted our friend who one-shotted people who could have one-shotted us. We're going to need help.
Nothing, eh? No response to that. There's crickets.
I have an idea. Did we
Yes.
see a bear that my friend saw
Lucky.
simultaneously as a man? Could we seek him out? Is that on the way to the Troll's Tongue?
Nope, that was directly to the south on the way to Spickborg. But yes, you did see what might have been an ice mirage or an Arctic mirage out by the Ifir forest, and you chose to sled on by.
Nice crab, though.
Right.
Good one.
Right.
Trying to recruit anything at this point as a shield.
I feel the fates Lomi offers, the Norn and the powers that be are arrayed against us in our search for more men to walk in front and soak up the bears.
Well, in that case, I shall at least purchase a bigger gun.
We can settle on that.
Gunner's gun store is open for business, although the grasping man has marked up all of his prices by 100%.
Aha!
Out of every good crisis comes an opportunity for profit.
Can I just kill him?
The
could,
lawman could
but-
requisition something.
That might be a contravention of your principles of honor.
Just a little bit. All right.
Can I convince him to allow us to use some weapons because I'm the law? The law is asking. The law is requesting.
Yes. Well, I suppose I want recompense after the fact, though.
Of course. What can you give us?
I suppose I can give you some. And he's looking forlornly at a crate nearby, and he says, "Well, I've got a new consignment of hail sticks, which would be the Norse equivalent of shotguns."
Could use that.
Mm-hmm.
How many we got?
Well, I suppose I could outfit you all with shotguns and shells.
What about flares?
Yes, if we may take flares, if only to honour the memory of Eric Redshirt.
Thank
At
you.
least I can say that his trading cards have gone up in value.
Do you have any storm shooters?
Oh, getting technical now, are we?
Plasma rifle, 40-watt range.
How about a harpoon cannon? Oh, sorry, spear flinger.
Yes. I suppose if you want to take some stormtroopers, I had some requisitioned from Finnbogi's bodyguards. I was having them refitted. So if you want to take those, then you may. Or automatic firing mechanisms.
Yes, that plus rounds. Lots of rounds. Plenty of rounds.
Yes. Here, have a bandolier.
Lovely. And there's two, correct?
Yes.
One for myself and one for our friend. the
Yes, I do know
detective.
how to count. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Well done.
So, and for the tree man, a hail stick, or is
Yes.
that too fiery for you?
Lot of good it will do him.
He has a bow. Storm shooter.
Yes, I worry because he's not so much brain as earwax.
Lovely.
All right, shall we be on our way?
We should.
Thus armed, you walk to the edge of town, strolling with the good wishes and the fervent stares of the townsfolk at your rear.
Looking at my ass.
Yeah, they were saying a kind of collective
Right.
sayonara.
One can wish.
Sigh of relief, possibly even.
The Troll's Tongue. It's a fair hike. You've done it once before. This time you are traveling in a twilight dusk that has now descended on this autumnal scene. In the tundra is orange and russet red, and it's considerably colder than when you last walked this path. Rather than describe the whole journey, I'll just enable you to complete your expedition and arrive at the top of the Troll's Tongue. You remember it's a huge, great edifice that juts out across and atop the icy Hellsund. Below you can see 700 meters down, straight into the sea, a truly terrifying drop. Below you, the ice groans and shears against the coastal bluffs.
Here we are.
So we're all standing at the edge of this cliff.
You have made your way to the edge of the cliff, and as a detective, you can see numerous footprints, as if relatively recently a gaggle of people have marched this way.
Going towards the cliff?
Going towards the cliff.
Not coming back?
Assuming that.
Correct.
Huh.
Busy place.
And so if I do a bit of observation, what kind of footprints are we dealing with? Are we dealing with human footprints?
Yep, there's a variety of human footprints, all wearing a variety of different sizes of boots. Make a wits roll for me.
Okay, 11.
You would actually go so far, you've got a hunch. You recognize some of these boots. You've known your partner for a long time. These are his boots. Someone's wearing his boots. They're his footprints that
Guys,
perambulate around the top of the cliff.
it's Val. It's Val. It's got to be Val, right? I mean, we saw him scooping up the body.
Leomi wants to use tree sight again, stare down at the area where the footprints are. Is there anything odd? Perhaps a deviant view might help as well.
There is nothing hidden or invisible.
So there was a thief living in the burial.
It's very weird.
There was Val scooping up all the bodies, which are the ones that he's been in touch with.
No, wait, Val had treads.
Val had treads, but was he not collecting the bodies of all these things?
In his capacity as the mortician.
That's what we're led to believe. Could be right. I don't have my partner here to bounce my ideas off of. I just got 3 schmucks here. But
Yeah, not wrong.
yeah, what?
So who could it be?
Who's bringing these bodies back?
Someone with feet.
Someone with feet.
You know,
That does hammer it down.
That's fantastic.
I do
You
want to
broke the
point out.
Someone with feet.
That's fair because some people have treads.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Including you, Dverg.
Yeah.
There is one person who's been present at every turn that I would like to point out. Our dear friend, the law speaker. And he sent us on an impossible mission to start with. He tried to get us killed. He got most of us killed.
Oh.
And now we're back and a giant thing is trying to kill us again. It must be the law speaker.
So CJ is trying to frame your boss.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking I was due for a promotion.
And he didn't promote you, did he?
No.
And he
And
sent
if-
you out here with us to die.
He
Let's be
did.
real.
He did, didn't he? Did he?
Did you see that thing? Did you see what it did to your partner? And he sent us out here without an army, without support, to fight it? Us? Me, the tree,
Yeah.
the robot, the thing?
He said I could, and he also said I would be like at the front of the pack. I remember him saying something like that.
Leomi says if only there had been some other clue, some tiny little thing that we might have noticed. Some strange behavior in anyone. He's staring at the detective. Any strange behaviors we saw in anyone. And sort of ticking his head, if as much as he has one. His woody head towards the taller members of the group.
Yes, and I'm pretending like I'm not noticing what you're saying. I'm pretending because I'm picking up on something. And then something occurred to me that someone went in there and they picked something secretive up. Which I'm sure is nothing.
It's none of your business is what it is.
Well, why don't you tell us what it is? Empty your trousers.
I beg your pardon.
Drop
No.
them.
While the argument ensues, Naomi, this is where your dream cycle comes.
Nice.
Behind you, shambling towards you,
Oh,
are
That's not a good word.
a group of mouldering bodies that look like they are animated by a terrible rage. Two of them are dressed in the livery of Finnbogi's servants, decapitated. In the ancient ritual, they are, for obvious reasons, as silent as the grave. A third shuffling body looks like the corpse of your old colleague, broken and mangled. Two other bodies, corpses shuffling towards you, are the two bullet-ridden bodyguards you shot at as the adventure began. All of these grave thralls are marching towards you, their hands outstretched.
They'll pay the consequences of everything we've done all the time.
As a reminder, there is a blood-red scar streaking across the sky that has partly blended into the maroon hues of the blue hour, but very definitely connected to the prognostications of Daniel in Spickborg. Jay, would you be so kind as to give me a dice 20 roll, and I'm gonna make this an extreme trauma event, because not only are these creatures horrifying, it involves your dead partner.
11.
And roll 4 dice 6 and take the highest one away.
Highest one away, so 6 away.
Is this a deviant
Oh,
situation?
you subtract 6 from the 11, but
Unless your deviancy involves necrophilia, then no.
I mean, I never said it didn't.
Yeah.
Grettir Greycloak, one of the creatures that you see emerge from this ravening pack of undead, is yet another familiar figure to you. Dressed in the garb of a stableman,
Hulif.
Hulif, the horse gelder, has also returned to life. And between these grave thralls, they all reach out to you and begin to rip at your flesh, to strangle you. You can do nothing because you are so overcome with fear and terror at the onslaught. You back away, constantly stepping back, trying to dodge these creatures, trying to evade their grasp from the grave. You step back one too many times. Make a slight roll, please. And because you are afraid, I need 3 woes on this.
Uh-oh.
Oh, God. Okay.
what was the D20, Jay?
1.
You may not need to roll the others.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Yomi offers, this is fine. It's fine. This is fine.
Oh, it's not fine. Okay. So, yeah, I rolled a 1, and then I rolled the 4.
You are doing a passable impression of the Birdman of Palpmakar as you plummet over the edge of the troll's tongue, taking the corpse of Halif, the horse gelder, with you. You spiral through the air, falling 700 meters until your ultimate demise.
Oh.
The last thing that goes through your mind, I don't know, is your face.
My own face?
Your own face goes through your mind.
Wow.
The rest of you turn because you hear a guttural warbling voice call out,
Here's Brianni.
Well, yes.
Naomi says again, this is fine. This is fine.
it's not so much a cliffhanger as a cliff tumbler.
Uh,
I liked that one.
The Vikings and Valkyries podcast is hammered together by a dedicated team of Scalds and Smiths. Please don't forget to like, share, and sacrifice to the old gods.